Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to another Tuesday morning Mortgage Coach call. My name is Dave Savage. I'm the CEO of Mortgage Coach. Every Tuesday, we are here to interview someone amazing. Often, it's a thought leader. Today, it's going to be a top producer. We have the gift here at Mortgage Coach of providing solutions and technology that drive 34% of the top 1% loan officers in the country. Last week, I had an amazing interview with Sam Hansen. That call has already been watched it's already been viewed on YouTube 230 times. Not bad for a week. I got a lot of great feedback around that. Sam and the Hansen Gaylord team is one of the top teams in the country out of San Diego. And we just talked about building, leading, and managing a world-class mortgage team. So if you do have a team, if you do lead, if you do manage, I really do recommend you listen to this. And even if you don't have a team and you want to have a team, it was a great call, tons of takeaways. So remind you about that. Next Tuesday, so August 16th, I've got the honor of having Todd Duncan, one of my mentors, close friends. Todd has got, it's going to be a bit of a keynote, and it's also going to be a bit of an interview. So if you want to be your best and hear Todd's message as we ramp up for Sales Mastery, don't miss next Tuesday, the 16th. We'll have Todd Duncan here. I do have the honor of having a co-host today. So Josh Mettle, thank you, my brother, for, I reached out to you just this week and said, hey, can you join this call and help with the interview? So Josh, thanks for being here.
My pleasure.
So for those of you who have never listened to one of Josh Mettle's interviews with me, highly recommend it. Josh gets a lot of business from financial planners. And the way he unpacks his ideas and strategies, you just do a great job of making it tactical. And that call that we did, I think it was 2 years ago now, going from price to advice with Josh Mettle. I think it's been watched almost 2,000 times, Josh. So really valuable. Josh, real quick, if you could just tell everybody a little bit about your production, and you mentioned that you get a lot of business from financial planners. Just speak to that real quick.
Yeah, well, our business has definitely morphed over the last couple of years as we've moved out of our state of Utah, and we now serve 38 states. The majority of our business is either consumer direct through some of our websites or through financial planners. So it's been a major pillar in our business. Excited to unpack that today with Aaron. Our team volume this year, 556 closings for $185 million. And a little short of our goal, but I'm hopeful I can learn a few things from Aaron here and pick up our numbers in the second half.
Love it. How much of that is, if you know, that's coming from advisors?
It's about 20% of that business. So there's probably 120, 130 closings in there from financial advisors.
So, guys, a lot of volume, a lot of trust, a lot of referrals. So we also have the honor of having Deryck Cheney. He is the coach for Aaron and has helped him with this strategy. Deryck's going to help unpack some of the takeaways from today's call. Deryck, if you wouldn't mind, just tell us a little bit about yourself and anything that you think would be relevant to the strategy for today's call.
Sure. So thank you so much for having me on, Dave. My best year in the mortgage business was 2010. We did $111 million. And after that, after a couple of years, I decided to go out on my own and started a coaching program. I met Aaron last year in November. He was new back to the business. He had been out for a little while. So he started back in September, came in with us in November. He's slated to close $4.2 million this month. So it's been a real honor being able to coach him, and it's been just a real pleasure. So thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no, it's good to have you. Again, as Aaron's coach, knowing how close you are to the strategy that he's executing, please help us unpack the takeaways. And as we wrap up the call, let's just go through the action items to make what we learned today as actionable as possible. So with that said, Aaron, welcome to the call, my friend. We're looking forward to having a great interview.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks for having me. It's always fun to catch up with you.
Yeah, no. So if you wouldn't mind just telling everybody what market you're in, a little bit about your production levels, what you're averaging, what you're doing this month, and then let's talk about how to partner with financial advisors more effectively.
Sure. I'm in Kirkland, Washington, which is just outside Seattle. The area. We're just across the lake. This is a relatively new market for me. My family and I relocated here a few years ago, and just in the last year, as both you and Deryck mentioned, I really went back to focusing on full-time production, retail production. It's been a gradual increase over the last year. The last few months has been 7 to 10 loans a month in the 2 to 3 million range, and we're finally moving up into the 4 to 5 million range this month, which is was my goal for this year, to get up into that range and take it to the next level here.
Well, I think a takeaway for everybody, I think it's always amazing when someone, who's one, new to a market, two, a year, well, he's got a backstory where he was a top producer years ago, but literally within 1 year in a referral-based business is at that production level. And I think the thing that's unique and special that I really want to unpack today is that a big part of your strategy is financial advisors. So if you could just get around the why, why did you add financial advisors as a pillar to your business strategy? If you could cover that real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. I think across the country, if you talk to anybody who's successful in this industry, you're going to consistently find, whether it's you, Dave, or Deryck, or Josh, pretty much anyone you talk to, you're going to find that a good percentage of their business is coming from financial advisors. Whether it's 25 or 30, 40%, it's going to be a meaningful amount. And what I realized very early on in my strategy was this is going to be such a fantastic source of business because of the quality of clients you're getting, the relationship you establish, and everything that comes along with working with a financial advisor and their professionalism and what comes out of that. So for me, it was sort of a no-brainer. It was like, if you're seeing everyone else successful with this, I'm going to find a way to do it. And I just built it into my strategy and started getting out there and asking for referrals in the financial advisor space and just ran with it.
Got it. So, hey, Josh, I'm going to ask you that same question in a minute. But first, I want to know from the audience, I don't have a poll question ready, but if you could just, in the question or chat section, if you are not getting any business from financial advisors, just say, no, don't have it as a strategy. And I would like to know, how many financial advisors are you getting business from? So if we could light up either chat or in the question section, how many financial advisors are you getting business from? And by the way, Deryck, well, there's no doubt there's a lot of loan officers out there that do have this strategy. I have always been disappointed when I've interviewed top producers, and I've always found it as a missed opportunity that they could be getting more business. So, Josh, what is your advisor strategy? Why do you target that vertical? And then we'll kind of get into it a little bit more.
I think they need mortgage advice more than realtors do. I mean, realtors, generally speaking, look at loan officers as, if you mess up or something goes wrong, you're easily replaced. And it's easy to get that mindset because everybody's chasing realtors. But financial advisors, on the other hand, are not chased like that. And there's really a soft spot in their knowledge bank, in my opinion, a lot of them, when it comes to real estate and mortgage and creating equity. And they are in a position where their clients are coming to them, asking them information and advice, and should I do this or should I do that? And the reality is the majority of them that I talk to don't know the answers, but they're supposed to have the answers. And so if you can position yourself alongside them, not coming at them, but coming alongside them and saying, I make that really easy for you because you pose the question to me and I'll come with the stats, the graphs, and the proof that you should do A, B, C because of this. And then once you develop that relationship, you become, an integral part of their business. So back to the why, I think they need you more than your realtor partners do.
Yeah,
Dave,
no doubt. Yeah, please.
So one of the things, and a buzzword for your audience to use is debt management. They really need help, and Josh nailed it right now. They really need help understanding how to better manage the debt structure of their current client base. They don't know that you take a hit on a rate with an investment property. They don't know that stuff. They don't know that you could take cash out of a primary residence up to a certain LTV and take no hit there and get much cheaper money if their client is potentially buying a home in Florida. So by being, as what Josh said, a trusted advisor right now to them, you can really add a ton of value to their business. And then I will say this too, if anybody's on the fence, if they don't, hey, can financial advisors, does it really help me, does it not help me? They tend to give you higher loan amounts. They tend to not refer you shoppers, because if somebody's paying 1% of assets under management, they already understand paying for value and paying for trust. So the clients come in a much better value proposition than just what's your rate.
No doubt, and there's so many reasons why. By the way, my backstory was I had built my entire mortgage practice on referrals from CPAs and financial planners, so I've got a lot of backstory around this. So one thing I want everybody in the audience to do, if you didn't listen to the interview I did with Simon Sinek last year, highly recommend that. But here's what it starts with why, and why should you focus on financial planner business? Well, first of all, there's a lot of reasons why. I hope you build up some of those throughout today's call. But most importantly, start writing that stuff down. If you wrote 0, like you have no financial planners, which, by the way, that was the most common answer, while a number of folks on the call said they have 1, 2, 3. The big number was none. I have no business from financial planners. Complete miss. So start writing down why should you do it. And we'll set at the end. Deryck, if you could make one of the goals, let's just kind of unpack the 5 reasons, most compelling reasons why they should adopt this strategy.
Sure.
So Deryck, let's get a little tactical, if you don't mind. And I'm really going to throw this question to both you and Josh. And then Josh, I'm going to throw it to you to ask Deryck a question, or not Deryck, but ask Aaron a question. But Aaron, what is the value proposition? Someone in questions put this question out there. What is your value proposition when you meet with an advisor? Why should they refer business to you? Why should they trust you? If you could just kind of net that out and how you describe that. Josh, I'm going to have you do the same thing, and then we'll go round robin with some questions.
Yeah, I think Josh really touched on this and hit it right on the head. These people are looked to for advice, and they don't always have the answers. And Deryck touched on this as well, where these are people who are paying top dollar for advice from financial advisors and wealth managers, and they shouldn't be expected to have all the answers when it comes to mortgage finance. So they look to somebody outside for professionalism, credibility, expertise, all the things that we bring to the table so that they can provide their clients with essentially a concierge service is the way that I like to look at it, where these people can come to them with all of their needs when it comes to finance, and they have trusted advisors that they can rely on to give their clients the right answers for them and their family. And that's really the value proposition that I put in front of new advisors and talk about. And mortgage coaches is huge for that, being able to sit down and show them the data and the graphs and all the things that come along with the mortgage coach system. So that for me is essentially what I talk about when I sit down with a new advisor, is giving them the ability to provide their clients with the level of service that they want to provide.
Got it. And Josh, how would you answer that question?
Tell me the question one more time, Dave.
What is your when you meet with a financial planner, what is your value proposition? Why should they refer business to you?
Yeah, I lead with edge. I did not have the kaputska, the cojones to approach a single financial advisor, not even my own financial advisor for business, until I had something of value. And I couldn't figure it out. I could not figure out what it was that I could bring that had any value to a financial advisor other than we close fast. We have great rates, which doesn't get any traction in the world of financial advisors. And so what I lead with is edge, and I just say, look, if I can show you how you can help your clients be mortgage-free or have a higher net worth in the next 20 years, would you spend 15 minutes with me and let me go over this report with you? And if you can just get your foot in the door a little bit to show some value, and then you go over a debt reduction strategy, or you go over a extra allocation towards principal, or diverting some money into a savings with a 7% compounded rate, and see what that does on the net worth. I mean, you're just working through a TCA with somebody live. Game changer. They're like, this is unbelievable. So that literally is my unique sales proposition or value to them.
I love it. And some of you may know this, some of you may not. I actually wrote this book called The Art of Referral. And by the way, Marcy, if you could pull up The Art of Referral, it was my story of how I built my practice getting business from CPAs and financial planners. But by the way, Josh, that's what led to creating Mortgage Coach, is I wanted to be able to be sitting with a financial planner. I wanted to be able to tell them my advice makes a difference, and for it not to be just words, to say, hey, my advice makes a difference. Let me show you. And, back in the day, that was a piece of paper that had strategic mortgage options on one piece of paper. And today, if I need to meet with someone, it's a mobile experience. If I'm over the phone with them, I send them a link and I'm saying, look, I'm going to ask your client some great questions, just like you do as an advisor, and then I'm going to help them make a great mortgage decision that is going to help them, if it's a financial planner, that's going to align with your advice. So pretty straightforward, pretty simple. So Aaron, I want to get tactical with this. I'm showing a photo right now. I know you're having Mortgage Coach conversations with financial planners. What's that sound like? For everybody on this call that's never met with a financial planner, built trust and respect, got referrals from them, what does that conversation sound like? If you could just kind of walk us through the structure of the conversation and what you're saying. And then Josh, I'm going to pass it to you for the next question. By the way, everybody, I just noticed the Art of Referral has been added to handouts. So both our Getting Started guide with a lot of scripts and wizards is in there, and the Art of Referral, which was a book I wrote, I don't know, probably almost 20 years ago. So it's a little dated, but you'll be surprised how much of what's in that book is just as relevant today. So Aaron, if you could walk us through what this conversation sounds like.
Sure. I think one important thing, especially if it's a newer relationship, for me has been to start with how you get in front of these people. And for me, it's just been about asking for those contacts, asking for those referrals, just putting it out there and saying, this is what I do, this is who I want to meet with, and having your existing partnerships help you make those introductions and get those meetings established, because it makes it so much easier to get your foot in the door. And then you're not walking into a defensive situation where the person's already receptive to hearing what you have to say and what you're there to talk about. And Josh, again, you were exactly right. When you sit down with them and talk about what their goals are for their clients and the value you can bring with the total cost analysis and the EDGE program, that's exactly what I'm going to be talking about, is showing them what strategies we can use and really showing them how we can bridge the gap between what they do and what we do, and bringing it together so that we can align ourselves and provide their clients with exactly what they need for their goals or what they're trying to accomplish, whether it's become debt-free or eliminate their mortgage in X number of months, whatever the case might be. So those are things that I'm going to talk to them about, and just talk about, asking questions like, are you already reviewing their mortgage statement with them, or do you what sort of questions come up, or where do you need help? Where can I help you with your clients and help get them the information they need to align with what you're trying to do for their future, their retirement, etc.
And tactically, Aaron, how are you asking for those? Because I think that's all gold. I think once you go deep there and you ask those questions, and then you listen and you put the appropriate strategy in place, and you demonstrate it in pictures and graphs with EDGE, it's like, slow and over the center of the plate. But how do you get there? So you said you ask for referrals. Are you asking a client for referrals? Are you asking another financial advisors? Walk us through that process.
Yeah, well, it was funny. I was thinking today on the way to work, one day I literally got in my head, this is what I want to do. And I thought about who are my best partners, who I work with. And I got on the phone. I remember exactly where I was driving, and I called Amy, somebody who's in the insurance space, and I said, Amy, you know everybody. You're so well connected. I want to meet some just top-notch financial advisors. Do you know someone you can introduce me to? And she was like, tell me what you're looking for. We went through it, and she came back to me, I think later that day, and was like, here are 3 people. She not only gave me the names, she asked if she could come with me for the meeting so we could all meet together, because she realized she had kind of neglected that relationship and hadn't, met with them in a while and talk about their needs. And it was so easy. It was phenomenal. It was like, my God, all I had to do was pick up the phone and say, this is what I want to do. And I had a partner who was so happy to help me, and together we went there and just established some fantastic relationships with 3 different companies on, out of one phone call. So it's just a matter for me, it's not necessarily with clients so much, it's more with my existing partnerships with people that, and I think that's actually a good point that we sort of miss with financial advisors is they tend to also surround themselves with partners who you want to be in touch with. So they're going to introduce you to a higher caliber, maybe realtors or insurance people or whatever the case might be. These are people who are surrounded by professionals that they work with. And so that's the way I approached it from backwards, was thinking, who are my top-notch partners who might have the right contacts? And I started there, and it was a lot easier than you'd think.
Beautiful. And do you have a ritual or a habit about searching out new financial advisors? Do you dedicate time to it? Is it just part of your process when you're dealing with clients? How do you add more of those referral partners into the bucket?
I've been fortunate that the people I've worked with within their office have been happy to refer me to other financial advisors within the office. And so I have very strategically aligned myself with 4 or 5 different companies who have then internally, organically passed my name around and made sure that, I'm consistently reaching out. Hey, we haven't seen each other in a while. Let's grab some lunch. I'm going to stop by. Let's get some coffee. But just getting out there and meeting those people, and then they're introducing me. And right now, I'm in a very comfortable spot. So I've been satisfied with that. But moving forward, I do want to add a couple more in the next 12 months. So I'm going to be reaching out to partners and asking for more referrals of people that I should be meeting with. So, but right now it's been great because you provide that value, and then they want to share. It's just like all of us. When you have a great insurance person or a title officer, you're telling your coworkers about it. It's the same thing.
Do you think it's easier or harder to get a lunch with a financial advisor as compared to a realtor?
I'd say easier. Yeah, I think it's easier for a lot of the reasons you touched on, Josh. What would you say?
I've been stood up on so many lunches from realtors, but the interesting thing was that I have literally never been stood up by a lunch on a financial advisor, and I don't know that I've ever had one say no, now that I think about it. I mean, they may say I'm busy.
I maybe had one reschedule, but it was, hey, something came up, can we push coffee to tomorrow or something? But yeah, I've never been stood up by a financial advisor.
Yeah, love it. Great stuff.
Well, first of all, they're a lot more well scheduled, in control of their time. I mean, it's a different relationship to manage. So, by the way, I've got a lot of questions. I'm going to start putting them in chat. So stay tuned, guys. I'm going to put those in there. Deryck, I'm going to pass it to you in just 1 minute to ask a question. So be thinking, knowing that, you're the coach here. You know Deryck better than both of us. So I'm going to have you ask a question in a minute. Deryck, you mentioned that when you asked this referral partner for a certain type of financial advisor, could you put a little more specificity around that? What were you looking for? What kind of advisors were you looking for when you made that ask? I think it would be helpful for the audience to know. And Josh, feel free to ask some colors. And then Deryck, you get the next question.
Did you mean Aaron or Deryck?
I'm all over the place. Aaron, if you could answer the specificity around that. But okay. Deryck, you are going to get the next question.
All right, go on.
What I started with was, who are financial advisors that that I need to know. I actually followed that up with ideally that don't work at a company like Josh mentioned, Wells Fargo, a company where they're already feeling internal pressure to work with their own internal solutions for mortgage stuff. So she actually mentioned a few places where she knew somebody at maybe Wells Fargo, and I said, I don't know if that's where I want to lead with this. I'd like to go somewhere where they don't have an affiliation with a mortgage company so that they don't have internal pressure saying, I don't know if they say you have to, but they feel compelled to maybe go to, Bank of America or Wells Fargo because they're owned by the same company. And so that was where I started. It was just really that, just saying who do you know that's very good in this space, but also maybe doesn't work for this type of company. And I thought that would make it a little bit easier for me to not have some obstacles to get past when I was trying to break into this space.
Got it. Josh, how would you answer that, by the way? When you think of the kind of advisors that you want to work with, how would you answer that?
I totally agree with Aaron. You want to, if you're going, the larger the financial service firm, the more chance that they have some sort of a finance arm to them. And a lot of times it's not worth competing with. They're not only securitizing the mortgage with a loan against the property, but they're doing it with $2 million in assets, and it's like, sign here, we close on Friday, and we'll give you the cost of funds. So you want to go the smaller boutique firms, and also I think the smaller the firms, in most cases, the more entrepreneurial the spirit, and when you bring something to the table like edge and some debt reduction strategies, or even some cool stuff like, hey, let's get debt-free in 10, and then let's see what we can do over the next 20 with allocating that capital at a 7% rate of return, and then what does total net worth look like with the property paid off in 30 years? I mean, if you say that to somebody at like a Lehman Brothers who's got a financial arm, I don't think it's as compelling as a six-man shop who is looking, just has a ravenous hunger to bring value to their clients and is very entrepreneurial.
Got it. As you guys can see, I am stacking the deck with questions that are coming from the audience. I'm not posting every single question, but some questions I think will drive this conversation. I'm stacking the deck, so I will get into audience questions in just a minute and keep them coming. Great job to everybody on this call for asking great questions. So Deryck, do you have a question for Aaron?
Well, I think, if you don't mind, I'd like to expand upon what they're both saying right now, too. This is a really, really good question, because financial advisors is not all-encompassing. There's really 3 different ways that they get paid. If you're talking to a Northwest Mutual or a Wells Fargo, they're on commission, and they're primarily looking to sell things. They are not going to be somebody that is going to be really worried about debt management and in an advisor role. Then there's also ones that get paid by fee plus commission. Those are good people. They tend to be in middle-sized companies, but the ones that Aaron and Josh are speaking of are fee-only financial advisors, and they tend to have CFPs, which are certified financial planners. And if your audience can really get their hands wrapped around going after them, and they do tend to be in smaller boutiques, but you want somebody that gets paid based on their advice, because that is a fantastic way for them to get, they want to work with mortgage people because you become part of their team. And so I've seen this a lot when people, if you just say financial advisors, people can start calling, their insurance agent, or there's so many people that call themselves financial advisors. So you have to dig a little deeper. And for your audience too, you can go onto websites and find people that have CFPs. If somebody has a CFP, they're going to be more likely to be a referable type financial planner.
Thank you for that. I think that's valuable for everyone. Focus on fee planners. Again, if they're a life insurance agent, they're not nearly going to be as focused on liability management. Yeah, they might want to network. They're a networking partner, but no doubt, fee planners, people that focus on advice are going to be better. Any questions we haven't asked Aaron at this point that you think would kind of pull out some of the value he's bringing to the table?
I would say to Aaron, what would you say, how has social media helped you in your business right now as it relates to financial planners?
Geez, that is a good question, Deryck. Well, first off, it can be a great way, like Josh was alluding to, as far as getting referrals. That's one thing that people, I don't know why people don't do it more. They think to themselves they want to do this. The easiest thing is jump on Facebook and just say, hey, I'm looking to meet some great financial advisors. Does anyone out there have someone that they can refer me to? And you'll be shocked how many people will respond and say, yeah, call this guy and that guy. So that's one thing that I think everyone could be utilizing if they don't know where to start, as more of a shotgun approach, and utilizing social media for financial advisor referrals. The other thing that I've really focused on in the last year is utilizing video, but utilizing it in the ability to well, for multiple reasons, but be able to tell stories and just show people how much fun I'm having and what I'm doing. And I think that whether it's financial advisors or other partners, they can see that you're somebody they want to work with. You enjoy what you do. You're helping people. You provide professionalism and expertise that they're looking for. And I think it just gives you that credibility that that people want to see when they're deciding who to work with. And so that's what I try to do with social media, is just convey all of those kind of things: professionalism, credibility, expertise, and utilizing video is great because they can see you. And Mortgage Coach, that's one of the things we haven't talked about, is that it has a video component which allows you to put your face in front of, let's say it's a financial advisor referral. This is somebody who's trusting this advisor with maybe millions of dollars. They meet with that person face-to-face regularly to talk about things. They call them all the time. Now they're getting referred to someone they never met, and you can put an edge presentation in front of them with a video, and they instantly will have more, you'll have more credibility with them because they can see your face. They can see that you love what you're doing, and you're talking to them face-to-face, even though you may not be meeting right there at that moment. So that for me is how I view social media and what I'm trying to do with social media in all my relationships, and definitely with financial planners.
Love it. So here's what I want to do, guys. I want to get to questions in about 10 minutes. So audience, keep submitting those questions. I have kind of stacking the deck with them. So as you can see, I've added about 8 questions that you've asked us. We'll make sure we get to those. Aaron, let's talk a little bit about the Mortgage Coach piece. I mean, when I founded Mortgage Coach, that was my main referral source. I didn't want to, say, hey, my advice makes a difference, and then, pull out a fee worksheet. So this concept that I can help your family compare options, I can help them look at the cost over time, and in windows of time that make sense based off of their financial planning horizons. I can help your family understand how to become debt-free faster. Now, in the case of most financial planning relationships, usually that includes some type of investment strategy. And I would talk to them about, hey, I can show them the Dave Ramsey strategy versus your strategy. But where I can really help people look at their mortgage, compare options, and then Aaron, you talked about the video. So what I would love to do is, Aaron, you provided me with a few links to total cost analysis before this call. So let's just walk through, make sure that everybody on this call, because they are a mortgage coach, they know how to use Mortgage Coach within the context of the financial planner. And by the way, CPAs are great referral partners. We'll kind of answer that when we get into the Q&A, but think of it as advisors, fee planners and CPAs. Let's talk about how you would have that conversation, how you would use Mortgage Coach within that.
Sure. What I find with a lot of my advisors is, rather than just give my name out, or I get a random call from somebody and they say, Joe or Eric told me to call you, I'm getting a call or an email directly from the advisor saying, I have a client and these are their needs, or this is the situation. And so it's really nice to have that relationship, because they're coming to me with an idea of what they think they want to accomplish here, or what they're trying to get done. And for instance, I had somebody who was looking to buy a second home. It was a referral from a financial advisor, and he called me and said, my concern is that they're both retired. They really want to buy the second home, and I'm worried about cash flow and what this is going to do as far as their, eating into their retirement and their lifestyle and everything else. And so we looked at the whole picture and realized that their primary residence was on I think it was a 10-year fixed, and they had it was a higher payment than they needed to be making. So I talked to all parties, the financial advisor and the clients, about, all right, what if we changed your primary residence into a longer term in conjunction with buying your second home? And the net result of taking care of both properties for them was that I think their increase month to month was like $100 or $150 or something. It was minimal increase in monthly payment. They got the second home that they wanted. The advisor got what he needed, which was minimal increase in monthly expenses, and everybody was extremely happy. So that's the first thing that just came to mind with and utilizing Mortgage Coach to show them that this can be done this way. Instead of the way they came to me was they wanted to put, I don't know what it was, 20, 30 something % down on the second home, and I said, well, let's look at maybe putting less down and show them various mortgage insurance ideas, and then also taking care of their primary residence so that we could accomplish multiple goals, which was take less money out of their retirement, minimize their monthly expenses. And Mortgage Coach was instrumental in showing that strategy to the clients, first with the advisor, and then going over it with the clients together so that everyone was on board with the idea.
How often are you adding a video? I've got a picture of the video here. How often are you adding a video to your total cost analysis?
I'll say it this way. If I'm in my office or not in my PJs working at night from home, I'm always doing a video. The only exception is if it's something that comes in the evening and I want to get something out quickly, or I know my schedule the next day is going to prevent me from getting to it, I might not do a video in that situation. But I'm always trying to do a video. It's for me, it's a must.
And how do your financial planners respond to that? When they look at the graphs and the charts, they see, the video added, what kind of feedback do you get from your advisors?
Everybody loves it. Everybody loves video. I think that if you're not meeting face-to-face with someone, it's the next best thing you can do is interact with them that way so they can see you and hear you and get to know you. It's the best thing that we have in technology right now is utilizing video when we can't meet face-to-face. So
yeah, no doubt. Well, hey, your president, Scott Bristol, I think he said it best at your sales rally. It's not about you, it's about them. And adding the video is really valuable to the family. Seeing their rates and fees laid out, comparisons, and then netting it out with a video memo. It's about them. And trust me, you may not like the way you look on video, but your client doesn't care. I mean, they're doing business because they're doing business with you, and they really appreciate it. It's very useful to them when making a decision. And trust me, folks, it's also really valuable from a referral standpoint because multiple people watch it. Hey, Josh, real quick, could you add some color? I mean, how often are you adding a video to your total cost analysis, and any feedback you're getting from financial planners on it?
Yeah, the only time I'm not adding a video is if I've got an IT issue, and from time to time I'll have a webcam issue or something like that. But literally 100% of the time, and even if you're in a hurry, and there's different styles. There's certain people on our team that'll just say something as simple as, "Dave, it was so good to connect with you today. Take a few minutes to click through the total cost analysis, and then do me a favor, call me. I want to go through this with you line by line and make sure we pick the right decision." Didn't say anything about the numbers, right? If they just get that thing, just that big smile with teeth and I care, I think that's good. It's not the best, but if that's what your comfort level is, that's fine. If you can draw them to the conclusion, like, this really shocked me. If we put this extra cash here, look what happens over 30 years. I highlighted that down in yellow down in the bottom. Click through the More Info tab. Let's connect, and let me connect the dots for you. I mean, if you can get them to a conclusion, that's better. But video should be 100% of the time. And even if it's brief. in regards to the value add to financial advisors, the one thing that I would suggest is really get comfortable with the reinvestment strategy on the analysis page, and really get comfortable with the strategies of savings accumulation and the savings rate, and then talking about the time value of money and how that builds over a long period of time. Because when you start playing around with accumulation of savings at compounding over years, you educate somebody. And as soon as you teach somebody something that they didn't know, all walls come down. Because you're not trying to sell them anything. You're just saying, hey, did you think of this? Because you told me that you were 17 years from retirement, and I thought this might play in well. And if you teach them a structure that they didn't know before, that's as good as it gets in building that relationship, in my opinion.
Love it. Well, I'm going to share a few videos that I think will be helpful as everybody embarks on the advisor strategy. I actually went to our YouTube page, and I'm going through some of the videos that I think will be useful to you. So first of all, we got a lot of questions. I think we covered how does he choose investors. I mean, I feel that that's been answered. You know, what about CPAs? You know, I would tell you, you know, back in my day, CPAs were incredibly effective. You know, I had a lot of relationships, and I had a couple of my highest performing relationships that were CPAs, and I had a few that were financial advisors. Does anybody want to add any color to that? I mean, does anybody feel that you want to answer that question? Any more details? Thoughts, anyone? Josh, Aaron, or Deryck?
No,
I'll take that
right.
first one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. How do you choosing advisors? I think Deryck was a great idea by mentioning the CFP designation. So I went to LinkedIn and I typed in CFP Utah. I got 1,252 results. So I sent an email out to my marketing gal. You know, how do we market these people? What an easy way to find those folks, right through LinkedIn.
So wait, you typed in CFP Certified
Utah.
Financial. Okay, I'm going to do Portland, see what I get.
Or even smaller, you can go to a particular town even.
Yeah, boom. But
980 results.
I do want to remind everybody, you know, for those of you on this call that you've done a lot of loans, you know who your most financially successful clients are that love you, and they probably either have a financial planner or know a financial planner. You know, first things first, think of who you know that trusts you, likes you, and knows a financial planner, or is most likely to, and ask them for an introduction. But no doubt, Josh, this is a great way to look that up. Any other color on that? Any other comments before we move on to this next question?
I'll take number 3 if you want, assuming that someone's starting around here. Okay, so you know, I see so much fear and anxiety around this question, and it's such a good question from whoever answered this. So what I always coach and teach people to do is to take the pressure off, okay? Don't think of this as prospecting. Think of it as just having conversations with great people. And instead of building up a lot of anxiety that, you know, I need to start having financial planners, I need to add them, I need to learn how they can send me business, just start from the mindset of, I'm just going to pick one today and have a great conversation with them. And that's it. And don't put any more pressure on yourself. Just one conversation today. And the conversation, and then the next question everybody asks is then say, okay, so what do I say? How do I get them on the phone? That was excellent what you just said, Josh. You can do that on every social media. Go to Twitter and do the same thing. I would niche it down into your exact area so that instead of 900 names, you can get 20. What Aaron said in there too is what we teach our clients is on Facebook, just post. Does anybody know any fantastic financial advisors, any CFPs that could introduce me? You'll get names of people. And then just have one conversation. And the lead-in, the next question that everybody says is, what do I say? How do I get that meeting? The way to get that meeting is to say a dialogue similar to this. It is so important to me to always be referring my clients to some of the best financial planners in the area. Do you have 5 minutes so I can learn a little bit more about you and your business? And when you get on that call with them, and we teach our clients to send it in a video. Right now, send a video to Facebook Messenger, we're getting a 90% response rate. It's insane. And then even on that call, still go in there without any expectation of return, not that you're trying to get something for them. Ask them questions. Ask them questions about what we talked about. Are you fee-based? What's your ideal client like? Learn about their business. And at the end, you can say, hey, listen, I'm just building a network of some of the best professionals in our area. I'd be honored to work with any of your clients, and hopefully you can work with some of my clients as well. You'll find great people like that if you have one conversation a day.
I love it. First of all, that was some brilliant advice. Thank you for that. I want to do something interesting here for 3 minutes. So guys, let's discipline ourselves to a minute or less. I'm going to go first. But Josh, if you were calling up a financial planner in a minute or less, how would you start the conversation, what you'd say? I'm going to go first. Aaron, I'm going to throw it to you too. So we give everybody a script. So I mean, my script, and I'm going to do the cold calling script just because it's the hardest one. It would sound like, hi, this is Dave Savage with Mortgage Coach. I specialize working with financial planners and helping them and their clients with their real estate financing needs. Do you ever have clients that ask you about mortgage financing? And by the way, I know that script works because I've used that script hundreds of times back in the day. And just, I'll learn something by how they answer that question about, are they cool? Do they have a good attitude? Are they going to be easy to work with? So that is a cold calling script that I've done personally, probably over 1,000 times back when I was cold calling. Now, again, I'm not going to recommend anybody on this call that you just start cold calling financial advisors because I think you can make some warm calls and have some better conversations. Josh, you're next, and then Aaron, we'll let you close it with a quick script.
I'm not as brave as you, Dave, so I have never cold called a financial advisor, but most of mine are referrals or warm leads one way or another, and it would just be something like this. Dave, Josh Mettle, Citywide Home Loans. Hey, I was referred to you by Aaron. I was able to spend 10 minutes with him and uncover a little-known mortgage secret that saved him $163,000 over the life of his loan, actually made him mortgage-free 11 years faster with only a very minimal increase in his monthly payment. I was just wondering if you would spend 10 minutes with me and I could show you that secret that I talked about and how we demonstrate it with charts and graphs very, very specifically. And if you would just take 5 minutes to let me review that, what we call a total cost analysis with you.
Boom. So by the way, that was brilliant. We are going to leverage that. Brilliant script, everybody. This call is recorded. I don't know if it's going to get better than that, but Aaron, you're up. Good luck. Good luck. I have to follow that.
So I get to follow Josh's perfection there.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm with Josh. 100% of mine have been referral based, so it wouldn't be a cold call. But yeah, it would probably be something along the same lines of, hey Dave, this is Aaron Crossley with Prime Lending. Josh mentioned that you were a financial advisor, and I specialize in working with financial advisors. I was wondering if we could schedule a time to get together for coffee or lunch to go over a few things. Are you currently working with anyone on your client's mortgage needs? And God, I'm not really good at this cold calling thing, Dave.
That's okay. That's okay.
But yeah, I mean, that's the thing for me is I'd go the same route you go, Dave. Is just talk to them about are you working with anyone right now on your client's mortgage needs, and then I'd follow up with talking to them about the total cost analysis and the detailed information that you can provide them there and what that will show them is just phenomenal.
Well, Aaron, I think oh, go ahead, Josh.
Sorry, I was just going to say a real quick comment. I think the beauty of what you've done is in a year you've created a business where you closed $4 million this month, and it doesn't have to be perfect. You can. The point is you just made the call. You've obviously just gotten to the place where you are willing to make the call, ask for the meeting, and you show up with something of value. And I think that's a really important distinction, that showing up, making the call, asking to show up and bring something of value is way more important than being perfect. So I just want to point that out. You are a success.
Well, that also is the case with video. I was going to mention that, David. A lot of people are hesitant to get on the video, and you're not going to be good at it your first time. And if you have to just sit in front of your cell phone or your webcam and try it a few times, just do it. Just, look stupid a few times, whatever you need to do. But it's going to take some trial and error to get comfortable with the video, and it's like anything else. The more you do it, the more comfortable you get with the conversations and the different systems and the tools that we have.
So guys, we are in the final 10 minutes. I mean, I literally think I may have got 100 questions today on today's call, and I think we've crushed a lot of these. I do want to, I'll speak to this if anybody else has an answer to it, but what type of material you're providing? I mean, folks, the total cost analysis, that is the heart of the deliverables. It's almost like if you give too many other things, it's distracting. Think of strategies and stories where you've helped families, and if it's a new planner, talk about past stories and strategies and share a total cost analysis link. And then obviously if it's an existing relationship and you're just keeping in touch, use recent stories and strategies. Aaron, Josh, anything you want to add to that? Question number 5.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. What I've done with several of my meetings with newer relationships is I'll put together a mock total cost analysis that I can share with them. And then when we meet for lunch or coffee or whatever it is, they've already received that. And we sit down and they're like, what is this that you sent me? And it's so great because they've looked at it and they're interested, but they are already opening the conversation with, asking you to show them you're a professional, asking you to establish that rapport and establish that you can teach them something. Just like Josh was saying earlier, that you can go into that meeting and start teaching them how this works. All walls come down. You've already just set the table for a successful meeting with that person. So that's what I will always do if I'm going into a meeting is, finish the conversation with, let me send you some information showing you what we use. I'll send you a mock total cost analysis that you can start to look at, and I'm sure you'll have some questions. And when we meet, we can go over it, and I can show you what we do and how we do it.
Love it. Josh, anything you want to add to that?
Oh, I think he nailed it. I'm just doing the total cost analysis. That's literally all I'm leading with, and I'll usually just pick one that I've found recently compelling, and I'll change the name and change it to their name /client, and Joe Wilson's client, and then I'll just walk them through how I arrived at those. But one thing I thought of when you were talking, Aaron, is have you ever thought about asking the financial advisor at the end of the meeting to send you their mortgage statement and just say, nothing is as real as when it's your money. Do you mind sending me your mortgage statement? Let me show you what I'm talking about. You tried that?
Yeah, I've done that with the realtors, but I haven't done that with the financial advisors. But it works. It definitely works.
I think that could be a bomb idea. Let's try it.
Yeah. No, that is a fantastic idea. In fact, I'm meeting somebody tomorrow. I'm going to tell him to bring his mortgage statement with him. So, good idea. Dave, I was going to talk about rates. On number 7, I don't see that you need to be too worried about rates impacting your relationship with financial advisors. The vast majority of what I'm getting with financial advisors is purchase, and their clients' needs are not rate dependent. You will still have clients with them that need help when rates go up or down. That's just, you have a client, they're getting divorced, and they need somebody to help. It doesn't matter what the rate is. They just went to their financial advisor and asked for help. And so I don't think that you're going to see too much impact with rates going up. I don't know if everyone else agrees, but I think you're going to find these aren't rate shoppers.
No doubt. And first of all, when you're dealing with fee planners, these are high net worth individuals. They have kids. They have first-time home buyers. So it's not only are you helping that specific client who is the direct client of the financial planner, you're helping their family members. So, make sure you introduce that strategy, with your financial planner that, hey, do you have any, clients where their kids are first-time home buyers? Often they're loaning down payments, so if you talk to a successful fee planner, they have a stable of clients. They know their clients really well. They know their needs, and you just need to kind of introduce this concept of mortgage planning. I'm going to help your clients better manage their mortgage needs. So guys, we've got 5 minutes left. Let's make sure we nail number 6. The concept that a lot of financial advisors, they won't work with you unless you give them referrals. I actually have my answer to that, but I'd like to hear you two answer it first. Let's make sure we cover that one because it was asked a number of times. Number 6. Aaron, why don't you go first?
You want me to go first? I haven't encountered this yet. I don't know if it's because of, I'm sure it does exist. I hear that from other people in my office that bring that up. And I don't see that too much. I think the value that we bring is what they want and not referrals from me. When I come to them and I offer them the ability to give these solutions and this expertise to their clients, that's what my advisors want. They want to be able to sit down with someone who's paying them a lot of money to be able to say, I can give you the best advice, whether it's from me or a trusted advisor. And I literally have one financial advisor that just told me he doesn't want referrals. He's like, that's not what I want from you. That's not what this is about. And it was so like mind blowing. It was like, wow, there's certain other referral partners that are always asking for that kind of stuff. So I haven't encountered that too much, but I'm sure it does exist, and maybe it's a matter of partnering with the right certified financial advisors, certified financial planners that are just looking to give advice, and maybe that's a component of it, is partnering with the right financial advisors.
Josh, do you have any color around that question?
Yeah, that was great, Aaron. I agree. I think people ask questions that are customary. So clients will ask you, what are your rates? And maybe 8 times out of 10, what they mean is, can I trust you? Are you gonna be committed to getting my family in the house? But that's a hard question. And so what they ask instead is, what are your rates? And they're trying to feel you out. They're trying to get their arms around you. And I think that's the same thing with financial advisors. What's customary is, well, if I send you referrals, will you send me referrals? Or how will you send me referrals? And so I would maybe just answer it as, Dave, I'm 100% committed to providing you value, and there's a couple of ways I can do that. One way is to send you referrals, but another way is to teach your clients something that they didn't know, help them be mortgage-free sooner, and maybe help them accumulate a little more wealth 10, 20, 30 years down the road. So no doubt, I'm going to add value, and I'm committed to that 100%. So I think you could sidestep that answer if you're working with a lot of financial advisors and still give them what they're really looking for.
Well, first of all, Josh, you nailed it. And the way Josh answered it, it's I'm going to give them better advice. They're going to invest more money with you. They're going to be a better client to you. They're going to make better strategic mortgage decisions. And by the way, they're going to give you more referrals because the way I do business, and you've already shown it to them, they're going to be a better referral source for you because you referred them to me. So guys, we got 2 minutes left. Aaron, I'm going to give you a quick thought here. And then Deryck, I'm going to give you a minute to unpack this call for everybody, and then I want to keep it on schedule for everyone. So Aaron, any closing thoughts you have as we wrap up today's call?
I would say if you're trying to take your business to the next level, or you feel like you're not producing at the level that you should be, start with the mindset, get in the right frame of mind about what you want to do, start having fun with it, and start looking to help people. And that's what I would say to anybody who's just trying to take it to the next level. Have fun, start looking to help people, and change your mindset so that you're everybody in the mortgage industry at some point has said, oh, I wish I was doing something else. Get out of that mindset. Get into the right mindset and approach approach it with the right frame of mind, and that's the way that you're going to change things, whether it's going after financial advisors or CPAs or what have you. So that's what I would finish.
Love it. So folks, if you could answer the poll question, let us know what you thought of today's call. If you are a guest on this call and you'd like to learn more about Mortgage Coach, click the last option. And then, Deryck, if you could unpack some action items and takeaways for us as we wrap up today's call.
Yes, and to that question that somebody just asked about financial planners sending referrals, it's actually the same question when people ask about realtors wanting marketing dollars. The way to get around this, guys, is to value yourself as a professional and always stay in integrity to providing value to everybody and everyone. And then the way to put it on the ground and make it happen for you today, have one conversation today. And just wake up tomorrow and have another one. There are always going to be financial planners and realtors that have their hands out and ask for things. That's a given. That's the is. What we can control is what we do. So have one conversation today. That's my challenge to each and every one of you. Thanks for having me on. You guys have a great day.
Yeah, it was fantastic. So folks, as you know, we do training every single day of the week. Every Tuesday, I'm interviewing someone amazing. Wednesday, tomorrow, is all about mobile. And especially with this financial planner strategy, it's important that you're able to have a Mortgage Coach mobile conversation with your financial planners, with CPAs, whether you're meeting them in coffee shops or even if they're, on the phone and they have a mobile device. So don't miss tomorrow's mobile conversation. Every Wednesday we're doing that. Hey, Josh, thanks for jumping on the call. You added so much value, brother. Your scripts are amazing. For all of you on this call that said, hey, would you write that down and tell me Josh's script? We did record this. It is in our YouTube channel. You can go back and you can replay it and listen to it 5 times and write it down. So there you have it. Josh, any last thoughts before we wrap it up?
I thought one of the most important things that Aaron said was that one day he was driving to work or something and he decided, he didn't use those words, but he made a decision that he was going to go after financial advisors. And I think that's the key. You've just got to decide that you have the tools at your disposal, you are of the right character and caliber, and you're going to go after that business. And I think it is blue ocean strategy.
Love it. Have an awesome week, everybody. See you again next week. Take care. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Dave.